It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Now, I need y'all to know this is not a plug for the show. I don't typically tell folks that I'm even a part of the show. We keep it very quiet. I don't even think my ex-wife has even watched any of the episodes. We don't really talk about it. As I mentioned, it's not one of the prouder things that I've been involved with. I love my family, love what we do, but just the show, we just don't really talk about it. And also, for anyone that's planning on going to watch the show, keep in mind that it's a reality show. It's not real life. It's a version of reality. So they took this narrative of us moving and not telling our family. They took that narrative and really blew it out of proportion, and they put you in situations that you normally wouldn't be in to create drama. Because in real life, that probably would, us moving and not telling anyone, probably would have been one conversation like, oh my gosh, y'all moved. Y'all didn't tell us. Like, is everything okay? Hugs and kisses. And it probably would have been over and done with. But because it's a reality TV show, they blew it out of proportion. Now, I'm going to skip ahead because if you want to see what happens, you can watch the show if you choose to. But like I say, watch at your own risk. But as a result of all the drama that happened on the show, they're putting a lot of pressure on my wife. She was just kind of the scapegoat of the show. And a lot of it, as I mentioned, just blew completely out of proportion. She's arguing with her sister. She's like, this is my business. Y'all don't need to know everything that's going on. And then now they're doing therapy appointments on the show. And it just blew up into just a tremendous amount of drama. So this is very taxing for my wife, completely understandably. I'm backpedaling financially. So, I'm looking at being a broke brother-in-law again, which is crazy. I'm like, why couldn't they have started the show during the years when I was prosperous? Now I'm backpedaling, but she always had my back. She was always by my side. She always let me know it wasn't about the money, not about the material. Like, I'm with you, babe. So as a result of all the drama that ensued on the TV show, we were also thinking it's maybe time for us to leave and make a move and get out of here. We were thinking of uprooting again for the third time. Like I said, the first time was Detroit. The second time was California. Now we're planning on uprooting and moving to Texas. So that's exactly what we did. Once the show wrapped up, we pretty much got to the point to where we said, we're out of here. The show created a lot of animosity between my ex-wife and her sisters and family, just because the way all the drama worked out. But if you want to understand anything in between all of that, just go and watch the TV show, but watch at your own risk. So the first season of the show has wrapped up. We've landed in Austin, Texas, and immediately things start to take off for us. I find work really quickly. We find a really nice place to stay. My wife at the time still wasn't working, but I told her, take as much time as you need and figure out your purpose in life, what it is that you want to do with the rest of your life. She decided she wants to go back to school, get her master's degree, and become a therapist. Fantastic. Let's make that happen. So during this time, she was actually still taking classes in Tennessee. So a couple times a month, I'd fly her back and forth to Tennessee. Eventually, she transferred to classes in Dallas, Texas, which was really fun for the family because we would load the kids up, spend a couple weekends a month in Dallas. I'm taking care of the kids while mom is focusing on finishing up her studies. So that was a really fun time for us. So eventually she graduates, and now she's in position where she can start contributing to the household. So things are looking really well for us. During this time, the second season of the show is coming around. Now, her sisters had been extending all kind of olive branches to make amends so they could get, their sisterhood going again. But my wife didn't want anything to do with it. I mean, they would send gifts. She'd send the gifts back. I mean, she didn't want anything to do with it. But the second season of the show is coming around, and we're thinking we're far from rich, but we're doing okay. But we're thinking if the second season of the show does really well, it could be a huge opportunity for us. So we decided, Okay, we'll go ahead and do the second season. Second season is as much drama as the first season. It's a reality TV show. This is what comes with the package. So when the third season came around, by that time we were out. There's no way we're gonna do another season. And the first and second season were already very taxing on my wife. Because during this time I'm still dealing with the manic episodes as well. Now, by this time, I had become a master at dealing with the manic episodes. Couple trips to the hospital, and it was really the same pattern as the first time that I told you. Like, okay, babe, yep, I'm the one that's with the problem. Let's go to the hospital. Okay, yep, I'll make sure they talk to me as long as they talk to you. Let's just get through this. But, in the meantime, I get some mind blowing sex. But I became a master at navigating the manic episodes. So we kind of got that part kind of worked out. But I did get to a point to where I talked to her and I said, something's going on. Like, you may want to consider seeing a psychiatrist, maybe getting on some sort of medication. Because at this point, I still didn't have a diagnosis of what was really going on with her. But she assured me I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. If anything, there's something wrong with you. Like, she was talking about me. Like, maybe there's something wrong with you, which was the same pattern that we had over the years. But I had become so good at managing life with the manic episodes, I didn't put too much pressure on it. So moving forward, we had also started to build a lot of buzz around media. We had a local show on CBS that we were doing regular segments on talking about relationships. Now, if you want to see any of our segments, go to cbsaustin.com. In the search, type in my last name, Rockman, and you'll be able to see some of our segments. And we had a lot of good chemistry on the show. We were also doing a radio show, so we're getting a lot of buzz. Like, things are going really, really well for us. And we were also doing a marriage ministry. We were traveling all over the country. We were doing marriage workshops all over the country. Like, things couldn't be better for us at this point in our life. Until her mother got sick. That was the night everything changed. It's January 2020. My wife is now almost done with all her requirements for school. She's now in a position where she's about to start working and now contributing to the household. We're in the development of having our own TV show. We have 3 wonderful children. I mean, life couldn't be better at this point in our life. And then we get a call from Tennessee. Mom is sick. We don't know if she's going to make it. You guys need to get up here. Okay, great. We're on our way. No problem. So we load up the kids. Now we got to drive to Tennessee. Not realizing this would be the last weekend that we would spend together as a family. This would be the last weekend that we would be together as a couple. So we get to Tennessee and immediately there's drama because this is years after the show. And my wife is still not talking to her sisters. And as a matter of fact, she refuses to even be in the room with them when she visits her mom. So we have to wait for her sisters to leave before we go in and check on mom. After some time, over that weekend, it turns out mom is pulling through. We think she's going to be okay. There's some complications, but we think mom's going to pull through. She's going to be all right. So it was a quick trip. We had to turn right back around and get back to Texas because the kids got to get back to school. I have to get back to work. So we're on the road driving back to Texas. And I'm starting to notice what I've seen so many times before. We're going into another manic episode. Okay, no problem. I've seen this before. I'm a master at navigating manic episodes. No problem. We can get this done. Except this one is different. This one is manic episode on level 10. It's something different about this one. But I'm saying to myself, you know what? Her mother is in a situation. We didn't know if she was gonna make it. I totally understand. But I tell you what, so one of the signs that I would regularly see when I know we're going into a manic episode and I have to step into manic management mode is she, in addition to what I already told you, the crazy sex, she gets overly communicative. And so I'm noticing on this drive back, she is on her phone and she is sending text messages as long as my intro to this story. She is chopping away. She trying to light fire on that phone. And I'm looking like, whoa, my goodness. But once again, this is a uncanny situation. We don't know, mama's in a bad place. So I'm like doing the normal thing that I do. Buckle down. I got to make sure the kids are taken care of, make sure everyone's good, and we'll get through this. And then later on tonight, I might get some of that wild, So we get back home. It's a Sunday night. Kids got to go to school in the morning. I have to go to work. Put everybody to bed. It's a normal night. I get up the next morning. My normal routine, get the kids ready for school, go to work. It's a normal day. She's at home. She's resting. I know it's been a long weekend for her. So I go to work. Normal day at work. And at this time, I was working Uber as well. So I would work my regular 9 to 5. And then from like 5 until midnight, I would drive Uber just to make some additional income. So I'm grinding. So I do my normal thing. I get off my regular 9 to 5. Then I click my Uber on. All right, now it's time to go to work. Then I start getting calls from the kids. Kids blowing my phone up, texting me, calling me. I'm like, kids, what's going on? Dad, we hungry. Where's mom at? We don't know where mom is. I'm hungry. I want something to eat. Dad, can you please come home? And I'm like, okay. Let me call your mother real quick. I call Janice, where are you? I'm calling her. I can't get a hold of her. I have no idea where she is. I'm calling. She's not picking up the phone. She's not picking up text messages. And I'm like, what is going on? Some time goes by and I'm like, okay, I got to go home and take care of the kids and make sure they're good. So I reroute. I'm on my way home. Great. Now I get a call from my wife. Ring, ring. Oh, hey, babe. Yeah, everything is good. I got the kids. Yeah, babe, where you been at? The kids been calling me. They saying they hungry. They say they can't find you. What's going on? Like, is everything okay? Yeah, I'm good, baby. Sorry. I'll make sure the kids get something to eat. Everybody's good. Okay, great. No problem. Fantastic. So I go back to doing my regular grind. Now I'm driving. I'm thinking everything at home is taken care of. Well, I decide to end a little early tonight. So it's around 11 o'clock. I drive home like I normally do. I get home and I pull up. Nobody's home. Kids not home. Wife not home. Car's gone. Where is everybody? Where's my family? It's 11 o'clock at night. It's a school night. The kids got to go to school in the morning. Where is everybody? Okay. So I'm scrambling. I'm looking around like, where's my wife? I'm calling her. She's not picking up the phone again. What's going on? So she was sick over that weekend. Like she had a cold and her throat was hurting really bad. So I'm thinking maybe she went to the hospital. So there's an ER that was about a mile down from where we live. So I drive to the hospital. She's not at the hospital. And I'm freaking out at this point. Like, where is my family? So I don't have any other choice. I can't figure out where they are. So my only option is just to drive home. So I drive home. I get home. And guess who pulls up at the same time that I do? At midnight. My wife with the children in the car. Now the children are buzzing when they get out the car. Oh yeah, they getting out. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, I'm upset at this point. And my wife and I rarely argue. And I rarely get upset. But I'm looking at her like, what? I'm really upset with you. Where were you? I couldn't get a hold of you. What was going on? You had me extremely worried. I'm thinking like, where's my family? And the kids got to go to school in the morning. What is going on? Here's where it gets really bizarre. She's not talking to me. She's whispering. Because supposedly her throat hurts too much to actually talk. And so she's whispering, I'll talk to you in a minute. Don't worry, I will tell you. And I'm like, will you talk to me and tell me what was going on? I was extremely worried. And she's still whispering, I'll tell you what's going on. Da, da, da. So she's not giving me any information. Okay, so we get in the house. I'm pissed at this point. We get in the house and put the kids to bed. And I tell her like, okay, are you ready to talk to me now? Because you need to let me know what's going on. Where were you tonight? And why were you out so late? And why couldn't I get a hold of you? Everything's going to be okay. Don't worry. And this is just driving me through the roof, all this whispering. So then she's talking about my throat hurts too much. I'm going to write a note. So then she write notes. But she writing these notes without, I don't, like, it's not giving me any information. She writing notes and just scribbling down jargon that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Where were you last night? I was looking for you. I'm calling you. What is with all this whispering? You got to tell me what's going on. Okay, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what's going on. She's still writing notes. She writing notes. And the notes aren't giving me any information. So eventually the kids go to sleep. I give up. She goes, and it's about 2:00 in the morning at this point. We arguing back and forth, but she's not giving me any information. She's not even talking to me. She's just writing notes. And I'm like, I couldn't find you guys last night. I'm just, at this point, I'm just mad. It's about 2:00 in the morning. She goes and locks herself in the bathroom. When she locks herself in the bathroom, she start making all these crazy noises that sounded something like, and I'm like, what is going on in that bathroom? But she has the door locked. And I'm exhausted at this point. So I go to sleep. So this is Monday night. I get up Tuesday morning. She's still locked in the bathroom. Okay. She comes out of the bathroom all wet, like I guess she took a bath, all night bath. I'm not even asking about the noises. I'm just so exhausted and I'm trying to figure out what was going on last night. So she's still whispering and not giving me any information. And she's still writing these doggone notes. And I'm getting extremely frustrated at this point. So I'm still fighting and trying to get some information out of her. I'm not getting anything. Now, one thing that I told you guys, that what did I tell y'all that comes along with the manic episodes? Is the crazy sex. So in the midst of me arguing and trying to get some information out of her, all of a sudden now, guess what? She wants to have sex. Now I told y'all that the manic sex is off the chain. This is on a whole nother level as we going into it. She pushing me around. She throwing me on the bed. It is wild. And she asking me to do all this wild stuff to her. And I'm like, yo, like, I know I was upset about whatever you were last night. But now at this point, I'm like, okay, well, at least this is my treat that I get for dealing with this manic madness. So I'm like, okay, let's get into it. At a certain point, I get over top of her. When I get over top of her, I don't know what she was thinking. She reached up and grabbed me by the balls. And she started squeezing as tight as she could. And I start screaming like a baby. Let me go. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs like I don't know what to do. And she just gripping harder and harder and harder. And this is a moment that I will regret for the rest of my life. As long as the 20 years that my wife and I have been married, I never put my hands on her. But for whatever reason, I said, Janice, you need to let me go or I'm going to smack you. Why did I say that? When I said I'm going to smack you, she bared down even harder. And I'm screaming and I reared back and I smacked her. I regret that. I don't condone putting your hands on a woman. It was the only thing I could think of at the moment. I smacked her and then I declawed her nails out of my balls. She literally had me by the balls. And so now she coming at me. She trying to fight me. She trying to push me and it is just crazy. And I'm trying to get her off of me. It's just madness in the bedroom. So me screaming so loud woke the kids up because this is like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So it woke the kids up, kids banging on the door. Dad, are you okay? What's going on? What's going on in there? And through the midst of us tussling, for whatever reason, she stopped and laid down on the floor. Okay, now I'm telling the kids, everything okay? We gonna be all right. I'm trying to get myself together, figure out like, okay, what do I do? I leave out of the room, I close the door, and now I gotta try to figure out my normal routine of taking care of the kids. So, kids, nothing's wrong. Daddy just got hurt. I'm okay. Let's get you guys ready for school. Okay, and the kids are crying. They don't know what's going on, but I'm just trying to reassure them that everything is okay. So I'm going through my normal routine, getting the kids together, and then all of a sudden, I hear the loudest screams coming out of the bedroom. And then I hear banging on the wall. Boom, 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 banging on the walls. And then the kids are freaking out at this point. So I go in the room and she is in the room completely losing it. She's on the floor and she is wailing back and forth, screaming, and banging on the walls. Boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. To this day, my daughter can't stand hearing loud bangs from that. Bang, she banging, boom, boom, And I'm like, yo, what is going? I am scared at this point. I was a master at dealing with the manic episodes, but nothing like this. So I don't know what to do. And the first person that I could think to call is my brother. So I call my brother on FaceTime. I don't remember if I called him on FaceTime or if I called him just on a regular phone. But I'm like, yo, bro, listen to what's going on. My wife is losing her mind, bro. And my brother's like, yo, you need to call 911. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I get 911 on the phone. They answer, okay, hi, my name is Rock. I'm here with my wife. She has a history of mental health issues, and she's in a position where she's unstable, and I need you guys to send someone out here. Okay, sir, is everything okay? Is this a domestic situation? No, everything's fine. She has a history of doing this. She's done this before. Okay, sir, you need to stay on the phone with us and we'll get the paramedics sent out there. Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay, let's just stay on the phone. Just monitor her. Is she doing okay? Yeah, she's doing fine, this, that, and the other. So while I'm on the phone with the paramedics, she burst out of the room and she is coming at me with everything she got. She's swinging. She has some like little metal, I can't think of what it was, but she's swinging it at me. She grabbed a broom and she's swinging the broom at me, trying to hit me with the broom. And then all the kids are around seeing all of this. And then my daughter had a blanket and she was holding the blanket up like, no, mom, don't hit dad, don't do this. And I'm still on the phone with 911 and I'm trying to manage everything that's going on and get the kids out of the way. And it is just bananas. So eventually, somehow, we get her isolated back to the room. Now, the door pushed out toward me. So I got my foot on the door because she trying to reach around the door and she trying to hit me around the door and just trying to get me. And I'm on the phone with the paramedic and I'm like, okay, y'all need to get over here. And then we get a knock on the door. So I got a knock on the door. But my foot's still on the door. She's still around the door, swinging at me, trying to hit me. And I'm still on the phone with the paramedics. She yelling through the phone, his name is such and such. He works at such and such. He's crazy. He needs help. Get somebody out here for him. Blah, blah, blah. My youngest son is at my legs punching at me. Daddy, leave mommy alone. So while I get this knock on the door, I'm like, okay, these are the paramedics. So I'm thinking, if I let this door go, she's going to rush me. So I'm trying to think what to do. So my daughter's standing over there. I'm like, go answer the door. And the kids are just stunned. They don't want to do anything. So I'm like, okay, I got to get this door. So I'm like, whatever. If she rushes me, she rushes me. So I let the door go. I go answer the door, thinking it's the paramedics. I open the door. I'm staring at a police officer. How you doing, sir? Is everything okay? Can you tell me what's going on? What happened? And I'm like, okay, I explained to him just like I just explained to you guys. You know, my wife has the history of mental health issues and manic episodes. We were being intimate. She grabbed me by the balls. I smacked her and everything exploded from there. Police officer's like, okay, now while we were talking, we had walked to a certain part of the house where I could look in the bedroom. Now, just 2 seconds ago, I'm thinking she's about to rush me, but now we're standing right in front of the room where you can look inside and see the room, and she's laying on the floor butt naked. Because like I mentioned, we were just about to be intimate. So she still doesn't have any clothes on. So she's laying over the floor, not laying on the floor, not a stitch of clothing on. Myself and the police officer are staring inside. After I finished telling him my story, he says, okay, do you mind if I go in and speak with her? I'm like, okay, if you need to, go right ahead. He goes in the room. When he goes in the room, she getting up from I could see her getting up like, she dazed and confused. She was looking at the police officer and telling, telling him whatever she was saying. Because I couldn't hear. I could see inside, but I couldn't hear what she was saying to the officer. So after some time, police officer came back and talked to me and said, yeah, we need to get some help in here. Do you want me to get the paramedics? I said, duh, that's the reason why I called in the first place. So now he leaves out to get the paramedics, and I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, we got to get some clothes on her. We got to get her covered up. So I'm asking my daughter, like, help me get her dressed. Let's try to get some clothes on mommy. We trying to get clothes on her, and she not having it. She not letting us do anything. So I'm like, okay, well, let's at least put a blanket over her so she's at least covered up. Because at this time, she's still laying on the ground. So we put a blanket on her, and the paramedics come in, like 4 or 5 paramedics come in. They go directly to the room, and they surround her. She's laying on the floor. They surround her. Okay, ma'am, are you okay? Is everything okay, ma'am? We're here to help you. And then after a while, she stands up and she's in the middle of the circle, butt naked, all these paramedics standing around her, and then it starts to get a little intense, and then it starts to get to be a little bit of pushing and shutting. It's starting to intensify, and they're like, ma'am, you have to relax, ma'am. We're gonna have to get you out of here, ma'am. And then they came out and said, look, we're gonna have to close the door and deal with this. So they closed the door, and I could hear from outside of the door, ma'am, we're gonna have to take you out of here. Ma'am, do you want us to give you a shot? We're gonna have to give you a shot to sedate you, ma'am, to get you out of here. And I'm hearing all this tussling going on. And then they're like, okay, yeah, let's give her the shot. Go ahead and give her the shot. And boom, I guess they gave her the shot because after a while, everything kind of settled down. They brought a stretcher in, wrapped a blanket around her, put her on the stretcher, strapped her to the stretcher. So then now they're wheeling her out of the house on the stretcher. They wheeled her right by me, and when they did that, she took her ring off of her finger and like licked it like that, like, and then looked me in the eye. She threw the ring and looked me in my eyes and said, I'm divorcing you. And then I was like, okay, babe, like, I'll see you at the hospital. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, I've seen these manic episodes before. It's never been this intense. But I'm thinking she just talking out of her mind. So they wheel her out. Now I'm standing here. It's just me and the kids. And I'm like, what just happened? And I'm just trying to figure out what are the next moves that I need to make. Okay, there's no way I can go to work today. Okay. Look, I got some situations going on at home. I need to take the day off. Okay, no problem. Go ahead and take the day off. So then now I got the kids. Now, originally, I was trying to get the kids to school before everything blew up. And so now I'm like, and this was a big mistake. I don't know what I was thinking, but I took the kids to school. And I took my youngest to daycare. Not thinking about the trauma they just experienced, but I'm just trying to piece together, like, how do I deal with this situation? So I get the kids to school, youngest to daycare. Now I got to go to the hospital and check on my wife. So I get to the hospital, and when I go, how you doing? My name is, my wife is, she's here. Can you let me back to go and say I'm here to check on her? Okay, what is your name, sir? Okay, 1 second, sir. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm waiting a while, like, okay, just 1 second, sir. And I'm like, why am I waiting? Like, just let me back there to go check on my wife. So then after some time, a police officer comes out. Police officer started asking me questions. How are you, sir? Okay, yeah, I'm officer such and such. And could you explain to me what happened, the situation that happened in your home? And then I explained them just like I just explained to you guys. Yep, she, we were being intimate. She has a history of manic episodes and mental health issues. She grabbed me by the balls. I was in pain. I smacked her. I regret doing that. And everything blew up from there. Okay. Well, she said you raped her, sir. And did you forcibly put your thumb in her whatchamacallit? Wait, she said I did what? She said I raped her. Yes, sir. And did you forcibly put your thumb in her whatchamacallit? Well, yeah, I did, but she asked me to do it. And he's just going on and on about supposedly I raped her and did all these crazy things to her. And he's like, so you're going to have to wait. She doesn't want to see you. She is not going to let you back into the room to see her. And we have a detective on the way, and you're going to have to talk to the detective and explain to him what you just explained to me, because right now this is an investigation. Really? Okay, no problem. So I'm at the hospital. I'm talking to the police officers. They're saying this is an investigation, sir, and your wife is saying that you raped her. She's saying that you beat her, that you knocked her unconscious. Did you do all these things to her, sir? And I'm talking with the police officers, and I'm going through the whole story, telling them exactly what happened. Then one police officer leaves and another police officer comes over. And then they ask me, can you tell me what happened, sir? Explain to me what's going on. Then I got to go through the story again with the next police officer. Okay, well, we're going to have a detective come out and talk to you, sir. Okay, no problem. Then I'm sitting there waiting for a long period of time, and then another police officer comes over, and I have to give the whole story again. It was like 3 or 4 police officers came and spoke with me. And then I'm thinking, like, are you guys ever going to let me check on my wife and see my wife? No, that absolutely cannot happen. Well, I said, because I knew obviously she didn't have any clothes on. She was butt naked when they took her out on the stretcher. So before I left the house to go and check on her, I had packed a bag with, clothes and things that I thought she might need. I said, well, can you guys at least make sure she gets these items? Because when she left the house, she didn't have any clothes on. They said, okay, that's a little odd for an abuser. I've never seen that before. An abuser actually come to the hospital to check on the person that they've abused. We'll make sure that she gets the bag. But based on what they were saying, I think they're understanding the story that I'm telling them. So now I get a call from the detective. The detective wants to, I'm running through the story with the detective. I'm telling him everything that happened. And he's like, okay, well, I need to come to the hospital to talk to you. I need you to just stay there where you are. And it's going to take me, I think it was like I had to wait an hour and a half. Okay, no problem. Detective shows up to the hospital. I run through the whole story with him. And then he says to me, okay, now it makes sense. He said, I spoke with her and I spoke with your wife, and what she was telling me, it was jumbled. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. But now it makes sense because I went through everything with him. Last night, she had the kids out late. She was in the bathroom all night. We arguing. She's writing these notes. Then the next day we were intimate. She grabbed me by the balls. I smacked her. Like, I went through everything. And then he said, okay, now the story is adding up. It's making sense. He said, the next step I need to go to the house so I can take pictures and finish my investigation. I said, okay, no problem. But I asked again, how is she? Like, where is she? How is she doing? Is she still here? Not hours. This was hours I had been sitting at the hospital. He said, well, she's already been released from the hospital and she's actually on her way to get the kids. I said, there's absolutely no way y'all need to let her get those kids in the state that she's in. And after telling the detective the story, he totally understood, with the history of mental health issues and things like that. He totally understood and agreed with me, but he said, I gotta get you to the house so I can finish my investigation. So we drive to the house, and at the same time that we pull up to the house, just by fate, my wife is pulling up at the exact same time. So now I'm standing on one side of the road. She's standing on the other side of the road. They're not letting us go in the house. Police officers over there talking to her. Then they come over there and talk to me. Detectives going over there talking to her. Then they come back and talk to me. And then the detective says, okay, I need to get a mental health officer to come out and talk to her. Okay, great. Let's make that happen. So after some time of waiting, a medical police officer came out, spoke with her. Then they came back over and spoke with me. Okay, we're going to have to take her to get her some help. We can't disclose to you where we're taking her. She doesn't want to be here tonight. We do need to take her to get her some help, but we need to let her in the house to get some of her things, and then we'll let you go in the house. Okay, no problem. So then I see her going in the house. I guess she's gathering her items. She's coming back out, and in the distance, she's looking over at me, and it was just a surreal moment. And then, boom, she drives off. And they did let me know we're not going to let her get the kids. We are going to release the kids to you. But once again, the detective still needed to get in the house to finish his investigation. So the detective comes in the house, and I take him through everything in the house. Here are the marks on the wall where she was banging on the wall. This is what happened. And I'm showing him, going through the whole story and showing him exactly where in the house everything was happening. Detective's in there taking a bunch of pictures, filing, doing whatever it is that he has to do to get to the next process or the next step of his investigation. So now they leave. The detective leaves. Okay, I got everything that I need, and gives me a card. It's still an investigation, so we'll be in contact with you. Okay, great. Now I gotta gather myself. Now I'm sitting in the house by myself, gathering my thoughts from everything that just happened, and now I gotta get myself ready to go out and get the kids. And before I leave, I get another knock on the door. So the detective has gathered all the information that he needs, lets me know that he'll follow up with me about the investigation, and leaves. Now I'm sitting there by myself. I'm looking around at all the madness and the signs of the madness that just took place. My mind is spinning, and I'm just trying to take a minute just to pull myself together. Before I could even get a chance to do that, I get a knock on the door. Okay, who's this? I go answer the door. Hi, sir. My name is such and such. I'm with Child Protective Services. I need to speak with you. Okay. Is it okay if I come in? Yeah, sure. Come on inside. Sir, I've gotten some information that you've been doing some inappropriate things with the children. Are you doing this, that, and the other with the children, sir? What? Absolutely not. What are you talking about? Listen, where are you even getting this information from? If this is coming from my wife, I need to let y'all know she has a history of mental health issues. We just had a huge blow up the other day. She was taken to the hospital, and I don't even know where she is. Sir, I can't disclose where I'm getting this information from, but we need to get the children to have a forensic interview done. I've already been to the school to talk to your children. You went to the school and spoke with my children? Yes, sir. I've already spoken with the children, and you need to get them to a forensic interview. And also, you can't take them. You're going to need to either we can pick your children up and take them, or you can find someone else that can do it. What? I can't even pick my kids up? Sir, you need to find someone else to do it, or we need to pick the children. Listen, y'all not picking my kids up. I make a phone call to my friend. Listen, I'm having a day that you cannot believe. I need your help. I'm sitting here with CPS. They're talking about I need to get the children to an interview. Can you please help me? And they said it needs to happen today. I got you. No problem. Friend agrees. So they leave. My friend picks the children up. And now I'm waiting for what feels like forever. After some time, I get a call back from my friend. Listen, they said everything you said checks out. They're going to release the children back to you. I'm on my way back. Wonderful. My children get back home, and I just hug them, and I'm praying with them, and they're asking me, where's mommy? Where's mommy? Children, I haven't heard from mommy. I don't know where she is. I'm sure she's okay. Let's just pray for her. Let's just pray and hope that she's okay. That night, we all just got in the bed. I wanted everybody close. We all got in the bed together, just piled in the bed, and we go to sleep. The next morning, we wake up, and now I gotta be strong for the kids. I gotta make sure they get everything they need. So I gotta get my youngest to daycare. I gotta get my two other children to school. Then I gotta get to work, which was about a 30-minute drive. I go to work. I let my job know, look, I've got some personal things going on. I'm gonna need to leave work early today because I gotta get my kids from school. I don't have anyone else that can help me. I need to get the kids from school. Okay, no problem. Do whatever you got to do. They allow me to leave early. I leave that day, go back to get the kids, go home that night. Same question, Daddy, where's mommy? Children, I haven't heard from mommy. I don't know where she is. She's not answering any of my calls or texts, but we're going to be okay. We're just going to pray for mommy. We all piled in the bed together that night. We go to bed. I get up the next morning. I got to do it again. And then the next day, I got to do it again. Then a week goes by, the same pattern. Still haven't heard from my wife. Then 2 weeks go by. I still haven't heard from my wife. Then 3 weeks, then a month goes by. Still haven't heard from my wife. Have no idea where she is. I'm just in this rhythm of picking the kids, taking the kids to daycare, taking the kids to school, going to work, leaving work early, back, getting the kids dinner, in the same rhythm day after day. Still haven't heard anything. And I just don't know what to do at this point, but I'm just trying to stay in a good rhythm and be strong for the children. So then on one particular night, I'm trying to have a fun night with the kids, and we got this old iPad that one of the kids was like, "Oh, Dad, I found that old iPad. I want to, is it okay if I use the iPad?" Sure, no problem. So I plugged the iPad up, and after some time, it charges up and it comes on. When the iPad comes on and I slide it open, all I hear is whoop, 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 whoop. I'm like, what is that? And it's text messages coming in on the iPad. So then I click the messages and I see all these text messages. This is the iPad that's connected to my wife's phone. And I'm like, oh. And I begin scrolling through all the messages that I'm seeing. And she is saying the most salacious, heinous, evil, hatred things about me, talking about me like I'm the worst person in the world and the detectives are gonna come get him. He thinks this is over and this, that, and the other. CPS is coming after him. He's gonna go to jail and we got everything set up and lined up and they gonna get him and they gonna do this, that, and the other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this that I'm seeing? And I just don't even know how to collect myself. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So over the next couple of days, I'm still getting the calls, I'm still getting the singing, but I'm thinking to myself, at least the children are speaking with their mother on a regular basis. But I'm just so stressed out at this point. I'm dealing with so much. I got the kids, I got work, I'm managing my wife being gone and the emotions of that. And I need some help. So I make a call to my brother. I'm like, look, man, my mind is in a whirlwind, bro. I need you to get down here. You know everything that I'm dealing with right now. I really need you here. My brother agrees. Within the next day or so, he's on a flight and he's here. He brings my dad along with him as well, which is really comforting with everything that I have going on. It's really comforting to have my dad and my brother by my side. When my brother arrives in town, he also makes a call to my wife and says, hey, Dad is here, I'm here. We know about everything that's going on. Would it be okay if we came to see you just to check on you to make sure everything is okay? She agrees that she'll meet, but under the condition that she does not want to see me. Okay, whatever we got to do. She wants to meet at a mall. She gives us a particular spot that she wants to meet. So we all load up in a van. We drive to the mall. When we get to the spot, everyone gets out. I'm sitting in the car by myself because I want to respect the fact that she doesn't want to see me. And this moment for me was extremely surreal. It's nighttime. This is the first time the children are about to see their mother since she was taken out on a stretcher on 1/29/20 when the big event happened. It's now like the first week of March. And so everyone is in high anticipation of seeing her, including myself, because this is my first time seeing her since that day. So I'm looking around like, where is she? And after some time, I see her come around like a corner, almost like out of the bushes. And she's looking a little disheveled, but it's just a surreal moment because this is my first time seeing her. Then I see the kids run up to her, they're hugging and kissing. I see my brother and my dad, and the kids are excited, and they're just there conversating, and whatever they're doing. After some time, they come back to the car, and my brother tells me, yo, when we went over there, we were looking for her, and she like jumped out of the bushes. It startled us, it scared us. And I was like, yeah, I saw that as well. And, he says she was saying she was, her life was in danger and she was scared. And that was part of the reason she didn't want to see you. And I'm thinking, her life is in danger. Like, bro, like, I would bring no harm to my wife. And he's like, absolutely, I know, but like, I didn't understand the things that she was saying. But we took that, didn't really know how to process it, we leave. So my brother's like, okay, I need to have another conversation with her just to understand how she feels from her perspective. So he says, look, he calls her again. Hey, why don't you come to the house, hang out with the kids for a little while, and then you and I can go out and I can kind of get an understanding of what's going on from your perspective. She agrees. Now, she knows that I'm going to be there and the children are there, and when it's time for that to happen, she arrives, and when she walks in, she's walking on a cane. And I'm thinking, why is she on a cane? What happened? But, I'm just glad that she's there. And this is our first time being together in the home since the day that the big blow up happened. So this is another surreal moment. So we're sitting around. Everything seems to be going well. It's pretty normal. It's kind of weird. And I'm also thinking, is this like the beginning of maybe we can start piecing this back together? Like we're all in the same home together. Even though it's a little weird, everything seems to be going pretty good. But, I take that thought and, I'm just trying to process what's happening in this moment. So now my brother and my wife, they leave. They go out for dinner so that they can talk. After some time, they're gone. They come back. My wife says her goodbyes. And then my brother tells me what they discussed. And he said, she told me that you gave her a traumatic brain injury, that you did this, that, and the other. And that was the reason why she was walking on a cane. And I'm thinking, a traumatic brain injury, like, bro, I told you she had me by the balls. I smacked her, which I greatly regret, but I don't see how that could lead to a traumatic brain injury. And he agreed. He's like, yeah, once again, some of the stuff she was saying didn't make sense, but that's what she told me. So we do that. After a day or so, my brother has to get back home. He leaves. Now, I'm thinking she's been to the house. We've all been together. Maybe, once again, are we piecing this back together? Are we trying to figure it out? So I think maybe I'll invite her to the house again. So I call, say, hey, look, kids would like to see you again. Would you like to come over to the house to hang out? And she denies it. Nope, I don't want to come. The only reason that I was comfortable being there is because your brother and your dad were there. But I would still like to see the children, but I don't want you to bring the children. Can you arrange it for one of your friends to bring the children for me to have some time with them? No problem. So I call my friend. I'm like, look, she wants to spend some time with the children, but she doesn't want me to bring them. Can you take the children for me? He agrees. So the next few days, my friend is taking the children to hang out with their mom for a couple hours at a time. So that's going pretty well. The children seem to be excited to be seeing their mother, and it's getting very close to spring break for the children at this point. So she lets me know that she now wants to spend the week of spring break with the children. Now, around this time, she had somehow figured out that I was tracking her texts, so she had me blocked, so I didn't know where she was at this point. But the meetups with the children were going pretty good, and I'm like, I would like for the children to be able to have some time with their mother because they hadn't done any overnights at this point. And even though I don't know where she is, I agree. Like, okay, you can have spring break with the children as long as you make sure you bring the children back after spring break so I can make sure they get to school and get back on the rhythm that they're supposed to be on. She agrees. But I was not aware of the surprise that she would have waiting for me on the day she picked the children up for spring break. So we're getting into the week of spring break, and I've agreed to let my wife have the children for spring break vacation. But I'm thinking to myself, is she gonna try and pull a fast one on me and like take the kids? So I immediately say, I need to get her on tape. And I don't know why I thought this, but just in case if I find myself in a situation where I got to fight for my kids. So I reached out to her. I said, look, I know we got a lot of things going on. Would it be okay with you if we met just so we can discuss? And I was honestly thinking, like, can we figure out how to mend this together? So she agrees. I'm surprised, but this is exactly what I need. So we go and meet. She wanted to do it in a public place, which is fine. And before I walk up to her, I take my phone out, I hit record. I leave my phone out, and then now I'm leading her in a conversation to exactly what I need her to say. Okay, hey, we agreed that you're going to have the children for spring break. Yes. And you're going to bring the children back on this day. Yes, I'm going to bring the children back. So now she's admitting I got it on tape. Cool. That's exactly what I need. So now we're getting to the day where it's time for the children to be picked up. I'm expecting her arrival, but instead one of her friends show up to pick up the children. That's fine. It's a mutual friend. So I'm like, no worries. So I get the children together, pack the children up. They want me to meet them outside. Okay, I take the children outside, load the children up. They get in the car. And as soon as the children drove off, if you blink, you missed it. As soon as they drove off, I see a guy walking up to me really quickly, sticks a document in my hand and say, "You've been served." And I'm like, what? I've been served? And so I take the document, I go inside, I pull out the document. It's divorce papers. And I'm thinking to myself, she actually did it. She's divorcing me. And I immediately think my assumptions might have been correct. If she drove off with the kids, I got this document at the same time. I was right. She's about to try and take the kids. It's the perfect setup. So I'm thinking, what do I need to do next? So I immediately make a phone call to her. She's not answering the phone. I called several more times that day. She's not taking the calls. And so I'm thinking, I think I was right. And so around this same week, everything shuts down for COVID. And I find out after vacation, the children are going to now be homeschooled. They're not going to be returning to school. Well, we get through that week. Now it's time for the children to come back home. Guess what? Children don't come back home. So now I reach out to her. She's not taking my calls. I send her a message. Hey, look, we agreed that you were going to send the children back at this time on this day. I need you to bring my children back. She denies it. No, I'm not bringing the kids back. Everything is shut down for COVID. Look, this has nothing to do with COVID. We agreed that you were going to bring the children back. I need you to get the children back so I can make sure they got everything they need for school. No, don't worry about that. I got everything they need for school. They fine. I can't bring the children back because of COVID. And it's just a bunch of back and forth. So I give up and I'm thinking, okay, I'm facing a divorce right now. So I got to get smart. So I go to YouTube University and I start researching as many divorce videos that I can find. I'm reading as many articles as I can find. And one of the things that I pulled out was if someone is denying you access to your children, you have to show that you did everything you could to see your children. And you also have to show that they are denying you access to your children. So I started messaging her daily saying, look, why won't you let me see the kids? Can I please see the kids? And I'm begging, please, 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 please let me see the kids. Now, I know that she's going to deny me. I'm just looking for her to give me the response that I need. But also, I really do want to see the children as well. But she's not letting me. She's denying me tooth and nail. And then one day, I get a phone call. Hi, sir. This is Dr. Such and Such. Are you the father of, and they name one of my children? Yes, I'm the father. Yes, I apologize, sir, but that appointment for your son, we're going to have to cancel that appointment. Would you like to schedule for another day? Can you remind me what time that appointment was? Oh, yes, sir. It was on this day at 1 o'clock. Okay. And could you give me the for some reason I can't find the address. Could you give me the address again? Oh, yes, sir. It's at boom, boom, boom. And they give me the address. Okay. Thank you so much for the information. Okay. Yeah, I will call back and reschedule. I hang the phone up. Now I know exactly where I need to be next. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Do you have a moment to speak?
Oh, hey, I'm the one that realized it was you. I'm on a webinar right now, but I can call you back after.
Could you please? I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, I will.
Can I ask one question before you go?
Yeah, I'm on a webinar right now, so hopefully it's something that's short. But go ahead.
Is there any reason why you're not allowing me to see the children?
Okay, that's kind of, it's a short answer, but it also may be something that I may have to repeat a few times. So can I call you back shortly? The webinar's over at 2:30.
Okay, and there were a couple of times you said you would call me relating to this, but I haven't heard from you. So
I said I would get back with you, and I did by email.
yeah, but it didn't necessarily directly communicate, this particular thing. So I'm just trying to figure out if we can come to some sort of agreement. No conflict, no nothing, just I miss my children.
Yes, Abdul, and I'm not preventing you from seeing them. I'll call you back, and I will follow up with you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, bye.
So now I have this information. There's a doctor's appointment coming up that's been canceled. They called me instead of her, so I know she's not aware that it's been canceled. So now I know what my next move needs to be. But before I do that, I make a phone call to her, and she accepts the call. She's not always taking my calls, but this time she does. And I say to her, look, why are you denying me access to the children? I want to be able to see my kids. She's saying she's not denying me. She's too busy. She's not going to, she's got too much going on to even talk to me at this point. And she just won't let me see the kids. Okay, well, I got to move forward with this next plan. So on the day that it's time for us to meet at the doctor's office, I make a call to my friend. Look, I've got some information. There's a doctor's appointment for my kids. She's not letting me see my kids right now, but I want to go to this doctor's office and I don't want to make a scene. I'm not going to run up on her, but what I want to do is if maybe we can follow her so I can at least know where she lives and have some comfort in knowing where my children are. He agrees. So we go to the doctor's office. We park far enough away where we can see the entrance to the doctor's office, but far enough away where we know she's not going to park and be able to see us. And this part was like slow motion. When I see her after some time finally pull up, I see my children. I see her head pop out. I see my children. And I really want to run up and get my kids, but I don't want to cause a dramatic scene. So I just wait. They go inside of the doctor's office. I'm thinking to myself, they're telling her it's canceled. Within 5 minutes, here she comes walking right back out. They get in the car. Now me and my friend slowly pull out. Now we're behind her and we're driving. But as we're driving, they're getting further away. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. My friend is driving. I'm like, man, you got to pick it up. I don't want to lose him. But he's like, I don't want him to see us. I don't care, bro. Just drive the car. Get up there. Get to him. So a little bit of back and forth of that, we hit a red light. They keep going. We lost them. God dog it. And I'm telling them, bro, I got to find my children. He gives me the idea. He said, hey, I got another idea. What if you get a tracker and put a tracker, stuff it in something? I'm like, bro, I'm not even seeing the kids right now, bro. Like, I need a lawyer, which is exactly what I do. I get a lawyer. I explain to the lawyer what's going on, because before this I was pro se. I really didn't know how to handle the situation. But now I'm into it. I got a lawyer. I explained that I'm being denied access to my children. My lawyer goes right into action, reaches out to her lawyer, and thankfully we arrange for me to be able to have an exchange with the children. But the only way she would agree to the exchange, because she didn't feel safe, is that if we met at the police station. No problem. So on the day where it's time for us to do the exchange, I hadn't seen my kids in months. And I was fuming, but I'm excited to finally be able to see my kids. She pulls up. Children get out of the car and they just run to me and we hug and we loving on each other, and it's amazing. We get to my home. And I remember my friend said, get a tracker, which I immediately went out, bought a tracker, and the kids had like a little toy car. I took that car apart, put the tracker inside, stuffed it in, and then when I went back to the police station to re-exchange the kids, I said, hey, look, the kids wanted to take a couple of their toys with them, and would you mind if they, just go ahead and put those in the car, yeah, little toys and everything, no problem. All right, y'all have a good time together. Now I got them. She accepts the toy. I run back home because, the tracker was connected to like an online site that you had to go to where to show you exactly what's going on and where they are. So I run back home and I immediately, literally within an hour, that tracker did exactly what I needed it to do. Now I know where they live. But I'm not going to run up and cause a scene, but at least I know where they live.